Rachel Krupa, welcome to Boss. Boss is my new LinkedIn video content series where I interview my badass executive network to help others learn, network, and pay it forward in this crazy new normal that is 2020. We've known each other for probably 20 years now, maybe even a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You were one of the original Power Girls on MTV. We have done numerous Sundances together.
Danced on way too many banquettes in our early 20s.
And now you're, not just doing PR, but pretty much running the world, startup founder, Mart, saved so much of my life during early days of COVID. I feel like I was sending your special gift basket. But tell me,
and thank you for supporting us, because that's what we needed. I mean, it was during COVID that we didn't know, and it's still so unexpected, but it's like through the support of friends that I'm so grateful, because you're not only helping me as a small business, but also all the other small businesses that fill our store. I think by nature, I'm just a connector, and it's connecting. And that's what I did for the past, 20 years is PR. And that is through food and wellness. And for me, it's like helping brands that have a purpose and a passion to do more than just exist in the world, to elevate their voice so that we can have a better food system. We can feel better through the products that we use, but also our dollar counts more than ever. So I want to use my skill set to help those brands, whether that's in the store, whether that's through my PR agency, to do more.
For those who don't know the Mart though, right? So you are a business founder, like started in LA, brought to New York. You're in New York, I believe now. Like, can you explain what is the Mart?
But it's basically a better for you 7-Eleven. So I like to say that you would find everything that you would find in a traditional convenience store, but everything is better for you. So everything in the store is non-GMO, no artificial flavors, no preservatives. On top of that, we try our best to look at more sustainable. We have no single serve plastic bottles within our cooler case. But then for there, it's like connecting the community and building the community. Now more than ever, you need to know your neighbors. You need to know, who is making your product. So for us, it's like a curation of the best of the best. Also priced accessibly. We have a $1.25 drip coffee from La Colombe.
Yes. So how did you get to where you are now? And where did your kind of brain trust boss network come from? And kind of in that same vein, how do we know each other? Because I think that's part of the story too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's all where younger days, I was a professional intern, interned in DC with a congressional member, worked in DC at the Democratic Constituent Relations, or not DC, in Lansing, Michigan, where I'm from. And then it's just trying and doing things. I love talking with people, and, communications have always been what I've been wanting to do. But then it's just that eagerness to see what's out there, eagerness to learn more. And then that's kind of what brought me to New York, was an internship at Major League Baseball. And I think, it was obviously you can't live in New York just on an internship. So you have to have multiple jobs. And so I was interning with MLB, but then also cocktail waitressing at the Hudson Hotel. And I met a guy that was just hey, you're not a Coachette girl by trade, are you? And I'm like, nope, I'm not. I, do PR. And he ended up getting me a job at Lizzie Grubman. And that's where we did celebrity and nightclub and restaurant PR. And I think that's where we met, is during your VH1 days.
Yes.
And I think that was so cool, because it was early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And, it was a different time. It was just we would go out, we would have fun, we would connect and really talk to each other, because, we didn't have these things to be in our faces all the time. And you had to connect, you had to meet someone at a particular time. Our cell phones were T9s, and then the Sidekick came out. I think that's where it's just we had to talk with each other. We went out, we grew up in New York. And I think that's the best thing, is the boss network comes from everyone that we knew growing up, because we all started at the bottom, but then we were able to grow and build ourselves. And if you keep those relationships throughout the years, I mean, this is 20 years now.
We met in our 20s at nightclubs and kind of through work, right? And now, not to age us, but 20 years later, most important, leadership qualities for executives today, for founders today.
I think it's creating something that you 100% believe in, that you love, that it's not just about, obviously money runs the world, but it's not about making money. It's more about a greater purpose, because if you have that greater purpose, then every day is like exciting and new and you love what you do. I wouldn't be able to do the goods if it weren't for the team at Krupa Consulting, because they help uplift me every day and they keep that business going, you know, where I jump in and like help with like the strategy and the brainstorm. But then like they allow me to do this. And you have to also have people that compliment you on things you don't know.
We all know the world needs more women and diversity in tech roles, data roles, leadership roles, startup founder roles, executive roles. Women make up only 4% of CEOs in public companies, and there are no Black women at the helm of any of those companies. Before this interview, I looked at Crunchbase, and it looks like 20% of newly funded startups in 2019 do have a female founder. But speak to me about these stats overall.
I think we have to change it. We have to change it in like the right way. And I think that, you know, it's hard fundraising because I think that it's so, you know, male dominated. I think that for us, it's like women have to uplift women, but also men have to like uplift like, you know, women at the same time. And it's not about like roles or I need women to fill this. It's more of just like, how do we uplift so that everyone does it together? And you have to have an equal voice in things. Diversity helps a business be better. It helps like a society as a better, because you want to hear all voices. And that is across, that's like a matter of male, female, that is, you know, that's race, that's color, that's everything. Because if you don't have that, your business is not going to be successful.
Your business is also in the heart of New York City.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was talking with this friend this the other day, and I was just like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else for the pandemic than New York. New York has the most like incredible, I mean, it was deep and bleak. I mean, we kept the store open we never closed it, you know, so you got to see like actually and talk to people. So we would talk to the MTA bus drivers, we would talk to anyone, the essential workers that kept our city alive, and just be like, what's going on?
Yeah,
How are you?
You are an essential business because of what you sell, correct?
Yeah, we were an essential business with the goods, and we served hot coffee every day. So people would come in and just get coffee on their route where they were going, and you could talk to people and be like, what are you seeing out there? Because I wouldn't leave my block. Most people didn't. But I think from then until now, it has like an amazing energy. We had to shake things up because things weren't working, but we were too busy. We were going too fast. We were not thinking of like, we didn't have time to do things, but we have to sit and like look at things. Well, who fills my store? I knew every brand and I knew female or male founded, but I didn't know more about like really about the founder, you know? And from there, I just like took a look at it and I'm like, okay, we had 3 Black founded brands, and that had to change, just because it's just like when you come into the store, you want to be able to try all different flavors, but from an authentic, you know, perspective of that. And so we just like looked at it, and from there was just like, okay, let's change the store. It's our time now. We have a lot of inventory that we can't sell anymore. We have to take it out of the store and we have to rebuild. And so with that, it was like rebuilding and looking at like really asking like who the founder is, like where they grew up, like tell me more about the story. Also like taste the product and, you know, make sure that it tastes incredible, it fits within our ethos. But then from there, you see all of these incredible products that I wasn't necessarily looking at. They weren't on my radar, you know, they weren't coming into the store. But now it's so great because now we're up to, I think, 23 you know, Black founded brands, but then we're also looking at, you know, women, we're looking at Latino, we're looking at, you know, like Indigenous people, we're looking at all types of founders so that our store is a representation of more of like what our world looks like.
The world, yeah, that's amazing. What is one of your favorite products at Big and Smart?
That's like picking a child.
One thing you'll commit to do in 2020 to help pay it forward.
Help build minority and female-owned businesses.
What do people need to know if they want to order from the Good Smart or do some of the boxes that I found on Instagram?
Go to thegoodsmart.com and buy and leave a note when you're ordering to tell me what you like. Because if you're a junk food person, I have better for you Funyuns right now. Also better for you versions of Cheetos. But then also if you're healthy, then I also have like really great energy bites. So help me. We're also going to be launching a curation. So I'm going to custom curation and do a Zoom call with people to talk about products and brands. Believe in yourself, believe in your friends. And I think it's just like understanding that people are here to uplift you.
So fortunate to have you in my boss network as one of my favorite friends, as someone who would always come and visit me when I was in California, when you were there on any business trip. And very lucky to have you in New York, and I need to have you over to my backyard sometime soon.
Yes, please.